Welcome to UK Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yukai Kechidori.
Hi guys, welcome back to another very special episode, and today I'm so delighted to have on the show somebody who is out there making a difference when it comes to creating brand and also helping others have the right mindset in our time today. Charlene Walters, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with both of you.
Awesome. And as always, I've got my co-host here, Trevor Stockwell. Trevor, thanks again for being on the show with us.
Hi, everyone. No, it's great to be here.
Awesome. Now, Charlene Walters is a business and brand mentor, a consultant, and a trainer who developed a digital entrepreneurship MBA program not too long ago. She is also featured on the Entrepreneur magazine's Ask an Expert platform. She has a whole lot of things that she has done, and we'll certainly want Charlene to tell us more about that. Charlene, do introduce yourself to our audience today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm an entrepreneurship coach and also a business and branding mentor, as you kind of mentioned. And I work with entrepreneurs and business professionals who want to further their professional goals, launch their businesses, and just kind of move forward in life. It's been really great. And as you guys said, I developed a digital entrepreneurship MBA program, which was a lot of fun. I got to work with wonderful faculty, create a great curriculum, and get to know entrepreneurs and what they were doing. I also started working a little bit with Entrepreneur Magazine, where I did the same thing. I also worked with entrepreneurs and coaches. And I just recently wrote a book, which has been a lifelong goal of mine. So that will be coming out in February. So a lot of fun lately.
Congratulations on your book. Awesome. What is it on about, the book?
It's called Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur, and it's about entrepreneurial mindset for women. So those things that women need to do in order to change the way they're thinking to be successful. There's some areas that women struggle a little bit more with than men. And so the goal of this book is to really help women to develop the tenacity and the resilience to stick with it and make their businesses successful.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. We are delighted to have you on the show. But before we jump straight into the subject matter today, why entrepreneurial mindset is so important, especially right now in the time we find ourselves in?
Yeah, right now, so many people have left the workforce, whether they're being laid off, they're being furloughed. A lot of working women and men, I shouldn't say it's all women, have also left the workforce because they've had to homeschool young children and they just couldn't balance the two. So it's really a turning point in careers for professional women and men out there. And just the times we're in, entrepreneurship really can be a good option for people that are struggling and not quite sure how to support their families. So I'm happy to be able to help them change the way they're thinking to be successful, because being an entrepreneur is a little bit scary, particularly when you're used to getting that nice, warm, fuzzy paycheck we get all the time, right? We don't always want to rely on ourselves to get that money, but we can do it if we have the right way of thinking and the right attitude.
Totally, absolutely. I remember when I got started, it was straight after uni. I thought, oh my gosh. In fact, some of my friends were saying, no, you don't need to do that. But I had the right people around me, mentors around me that pushed me forward. If they were not there, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be doing what I do today. It is definitely
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard because people will try to talk you out of it. Sometimes it's people you don't know. Sometimes it's your family saying, no, don't do that. And so that's part of the adjustment, is really learning to tune that out and go for it. And it's lucky that you had a mentor to kind of help you through and overcome that.
Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes they mean well, don't they?
They do. They do. It's just sometimes, it's scary for people if they haven't ever been an entrepreneur. They haven't been brought up that way. We've been raised to kind of go to school, to get a nice career, to be successful and work for someone else. So it's a different way of thinking, and that can cause a lot of fear for anyone around,
Yes, totally. Now, one of the things I often get asked, Charlene, is about, the myth around entrepreneurship. Have you come across people asking this, perhaps?
About the entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think, being an entrepreneur and being an intrapreneur are very similar, right? And any business today would love to have someone who thinks with an entrepreneurial attitude, because they want them to think as a business owner. They want to think about the profits. They want them to think about making the business or the project or whatever they're working on successful. So I think no matter where you're at, the more you can think like an entrepreneur and really have that entrepreneurial mindset, the better you'll do, whether you're on your own or working in a bigger corporation, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So how would you say we could develop, what would be the first couple of steps to developing a mindset that would sort of eventually lead to us being full-blown entrepreneurs?
So the first mindset shift you need to make is taking action. So it's, as I said, it's very scary to jump into entrepreneurship, and a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, but not as many do it because they don't want to make that leap. So really the first thing you need to do is take the action, research the market out there, and think about your skills, your talents, your expertise, and where you might add value, or you could fill a hole that's out there in the market. And then really study and do your research and get to know everything about it, the target market and everything you can, survey customers. And then you sort of have to take action and start planning towards that. And I always suggest starting as a side hustle, because that's a really kind of nice, easy way to get into it and not really stress yourself out. If you begin a little at a time, you can do all of your planning and development while you still have some money coming in from your other job. And then, eventually you'll know when the timing is right to kind of jump into it full time.
Yes, and what I like about this is because that's exactly what you did as well. So you know it firsthand how it has worked out for you.
Definitely. And things always take longer than you think they will. Like, it takes a long time. I'm sure you both have been working on your personal brands and putting your business name and branding out there. And it takes time to build traction, right? Eventually, first you feel like you're doing everything, but then the more you insert yourself into the conversation, you get to know people and network, the more opportunities will come to you. So all of that takes a long time. People often look at successful entrepreneurs, successful people, and think, boy, that was really easy, right? Because you're just watching the last 5 minutes. You don't see the 5 years, 10 years that they put in before that. So
exactly. Yeah. And overnight success, they call it.
Yes, but it really isn't overnight, not usually.
No, not at all. What was it like when you were moving on from the corporate world, so to speak, into running your own business?
For me, it was something I began as a side hustle, like I said, and I started going further and further into it. And then I just found myself at a point where I was being more inspired by things externally, by people externally. I was getting exposed to more, and I started getting more and more opportunities and just getting to know other people. And I just thought, I'm in the wrong spot. I think I'm really better off working for myself. I'm more of a leader than a follower. I just felt that drive to get out on my own. And that's how it happened. But again, I started as a side hustle and it grew over time.
Taking action, as you said.
Yes, that's the first step.
Absolutely. The second step, perhaps naturally, is really perhaps to see what you're getting and adjust accordingly. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so you have to, figure it out. And then once you figure out what you're doing, what business you're in, who your target audience is, you'll have to do all the research, work on your product development. And then it's really getting the word out, as you said, is setting up your website, setting up your brand. It's kind of paying your dues, right? You have to get out there, you have to hustle, you have to figure out why you're in business, and then really connect with it and really think strategically, what are my next steps and what do I need to keep doing? And as part of that, you really have to work on developing, I call it an entrepreneurial attitude, where you are really getting comfortable with taking risks and then failing, because you're going to fail a lot before you are successful. And that's why a lot of people give up on their businesses. They hit a failure, a setback, and it brings them down. So you have to just kind of change the way you're thinking. Like, here's plan A, here's B, C, D, E, F, and just keep going until you get to where you want to be. It's just constant pivoting until you find the right recipe, as you were saying.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. That, to me, having the right attitude, the entrepreneur attitude, as you put it, decides who's going to carry forward and who is not. Because, gosh, the amount of roadblocks you meet along the way, sometimes people don't tell you about them, do they? People show you the glossy, shiny part. And
that's what I say. People aren't posting on Instagram. Boy, I got 10 rejections today. But what you really have to do is just keep putting yourself out there, keep trying new things. And it's happened to me. I've gotten a lot of great opportunities, but I've definitely been shot down before. And many people who are in business have experienced the same thing. And hand in hand with that, you really have to work on your confidence, just growing that inner confidence. Yeah. And a lot of people really suffer with imposter syndrome, that feeling that they don't really belong, or if they have done well, that they've only gotten lucky. It's really kind of training yourself to tell yourself, you are good enough, you can do it, you've got this, and just tweaking your mindset so that you feel that and you're not at all talking like also self-sabotage, as you said. Luckily there are people telling you that, but sometimes you have to kind of get in there and build it up yourself, just so you can have the persistence that it's going to take for you to be in it for the long run.
Yeah, amazing. For those perhaps, Charlene, who are struggling with those 3 steps which you have mentioned so far, taking action, having the right entrepreneurial attitude, and their inner confidence, what would be something you can suggest to them that to get them back on the track, so to speak?
Yeah, I do suggest, like you said, getting a mentor if you're really struggling, even just someone to check in with and hold you accountable, because a lot of times the entrepreneurs that I meet with, they have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they get overwhelmed. Like, where do I start? What do I do? What do I do next? Or they can get set back, and just talking to someone, talking through your ideas, you have the answers. But if someone's there holding you accountable and really making you stick with your plan, it can really help you out. Also, just doing whatever you can to boost your confidence. If you feel like you don't really know something in one particular area, learn about it. Follow somebody who's an expert. Find more information, and also do what you can, like maybe make a little list of all your accomplishments and everything you have going for you. And if you're feeling bad about yourself, just look at your little list, hang it in your office or something, so that you can remind yourself that you are worthy and that you've done a lot. Sometimes we lose sight of that when we hit a setback.
Yeah. I remember when I got started, I'm sure there's somebody suffering from this as well. I had difficulty in identifying who to appoint as my mentor, or how do you go about solving that for somebody?
Yeah, I mentioned this in my book. Like asking someone to be their mentor is sort of like asking someone to marry you or something. It's like this big commitment. And the truth is, a lot of people don't have a lot of time. They'd love to mentor people, but they're not doing other things. So what I always suggest is look for people in areas where you need. Sometimes you just need an hour with someone to get them. When I was new to the book business, I sat down for an hour with somebody, listened to everything she had to tell me. It was everything. And I followed that advice. And you can even look for, there's paid people, you can get coaches, of course, and there's other people that you can mentor, but look for those people, whether you're following them online or they're in your organization or that you can relate to, and try to just use, different pieces from everyone, because sometimes, people will guide you what they think is best, but maybe it's not really what's best for you that you feel. So you can pick and choose from different people, and maybe not focus on the idea of having one mentor unless you have a coach who's holding you accountable over time.
Amazing. So true. Absolutely true. I would love to talk about the mistakes.
Okay.
You know that as well as I do that when you embark on this journey, you are going to make a lot of mistakes. Oftentimes, you don't even know you're making those mistakes.
Yes.
Talk to us about the mistakes perhaps you have found, perhaps in yourself or those that you've helped, that has stopped people from becoming that entrepreneur they want to be.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of mistakes that really are around trying to do too much and not really understanding your target audience, or maybe trying to do too many things. So I see a lot of entrepreneurs who have like 6 different business ideas and they want to do all 6. Right. And what I suggest for them is pick 2 or 3 for now. I'm not saying you can't do all 6 of those things, but focus on a few at a time and just take steps, and really just kind of setting your goals and listing them. here are my 5 goals, and here are the micro steps that's going to take to make them happen, and go through those. And once you hit that, move on to your next and keep going. I think that's what happens a lot. People are dreaming really big, but they're not executing. So it's planning and execution, as simple as that sounds. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I see often happening is a failure just to really focus on those activities that are generating revenue. Like a lot of times people will, I'm opening a business, I'll pay $10,000 to get this shiny new website, and I'm going to buy new furniture, a new sign, all this stuff. When really in the beginning, you have to bootstrap, save your money, and just focus on those things that are going to bring money in. Otherwise, you won't be in business for very long. So those are the 2 biggest mistakes I see often.
Amazing. Oh gosh, I used to suffer from the very first one. I had so many ideas and I wanted to.
I think we all do, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, gosh, if I could do this, I can see how it will work. But little did I know that it is going to consume my time as a whole. But then how do you decide which one of your ideas to go for?
I think, like I said, just talking it out sometimes with somebody is really the way to do it. When you have all these ideas, and if you just bounce it off, whether it's a mentor or someone you trust or someone who's in business, they can help you streamline. Like what I often say is, well, what are at the top of your list? What do you really want to do? I think that's even something that simple of just kind of ranking them in order, will really help someone to kind of condense it. As I'm sure you experienced, I'm sure you had a lot of ideas, and you go after a certain few, and you sort of have to pick and choose that way at first.
Yes, yeah, incredible. One of the things I love about
you're right. You have.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just following up on your point. Yeah, you have to be specific about a certain target market because, there's part of us that just wants to help everybody, but we'll wear ourselves out trying to do that, and nobody will actually hear us anyway. So I think it's a very good point that you mentioned. Yeah.
Definitely, Trevor. And I think sometimes too, your target market changes. You might start off with one thing, and then you realize that you're resonating with something else entirely. So sometimes it doesn't have to be set in stone, but you have to have a good idea in the beginning. And then if you see it shifting, sort of shift with what you're attracting, for sure.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the things I know for a fact, from one of the profile we were looking at earlier on, is your belief in creativity. Talk to us about that. Why it's so important for an entrepreneur?
Oh, definitely. So, as you're going through and you're moving on in business and you get to a certain point, the market keeps changing. I mean, look at this past year. Everybody's had to pivot and reinvent. So you've got to be very innovative and creative to come up with new ways of doing business, of staying relevant, of attracting your customers and kind of staying in the mix. So some things I suggest is that, when we're doing our logical business thinking, we have one way of thinking. But sometimes if we take a break or we meditate, or, you've heard the term sleep on it, it's because we're shifting out of that logical way of thinking and we're disrupting our kind of logical mind. And that's when good ideas come to us. And I also sort of suggest that you go and look at, maybe you're in a bridal business and you start reading Popular Mechanics or something else, going to outside lectures that are outside of your norm, maybe following different people on Instagram that have nothing to do with your business, because that's when you'll say, oh, look what they're doing. Maybe I can flip it and do it in my business also. So just kind of going for those things that you wouldn't normally can really help get you more creative and innovative.
Yes, amazing. Absolutely amazing. For me, creativity, has helped us to stay afloat, when things are changing.
What have you done to pivot during, times when you needed to? What kind of creative ideas have you brought in?
Well, for instance, with our outsourcing, we had to target a different market, those that are actually moving from employment setting into a gig economy, reshifting everything there, which again is still an ongoing process. But we had to think, okay, other than the people we were targeting, who else can we target? Where is the trends going? And again, we had to incorporate other things that we were not very familiar with, like, for example, using YouTube. Perhaps we should have started a long time ago, but we've just really started using it because there is a definite need for us to be found that way.
Yeah, definitely. Videos are big, trying to get on videos and making an impact. YouTube is wonderful. TikTok even has been great.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see some of the creative things brands are doing on TikTok and really just kind of redefining your brand. And businesses now, they've had to come up with all kinds of creative ways to get people to do business with them, bringing their stores to people, right, in many cases.
Yeah.
Or
Yes, totally.
changing.
Totally. For those who wants to carry on learning from you as we are coming perhaps toward the end of our time together here, where can they find you, Charlene?
They can find me on Twitter at CWaltersPhD, on Instagram at Charlene Walters PhD. I'm on LinkedIn, Charlene Walters PhD, and my website is ownyourother.com or charlenewalters.com. They both go to the same place. And you can also find out, if you're interested in finding more about the entrepreneurial mindset, you can look for my book. It's called Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur on Amazon. It's available for pre-order now, and it'll be out in February.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Is there anything else, Charlene, around the entrepreneurial mindset that you feel very strongly about and wish somebody perhaps shared with you when you were getting started, people don't talk about?
Yeah, I think there's two pieces of advice I would leave the audience with. And I just want everyone to know, no matter what you want to do in life, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. It's just sticking with it, making those plans and having the tenacity to see them through. So don't give up if it's your dream, you'll get there. And the second thing is to also, particularly now, just really make sure you're taking care of yourself. We often get so busy, we're working on our businesses, we're working on all kinds of things that we don't put ourselves at the top of our list like we should. And the more we take care of ourselves, we do the things we love, we spend time with the people we really enjoy and we love, the happier we'll be, the more productive, the more successful we'll be. So those are my two big pieces of advice. Take action, plan, execute on it, and just have fun and take care of yourself along the way.
Awesome. Amazing. And my favorite question here to ask all our guests here, you are a busy mom. You have a business, you've got the fitness going there, you've got a beautiful, is it a son or a daughter?
I've got two daughters, yes.
Yes.
Teenagers. So it's been interesting.
How do you manage all this? Tell us about your routine. How do you keep on top of this?
Yeah, so work-life balance is a big one for all of us. I mean, we're busy juggling things. What I really like to do is to make scheduling a big central part of my day. So I know I want to spend time with my children. I want to spend time at work. So I try to be as productive as possible when I'm working. If something comes up, say one afternoon for the children that I want to do, I'll do that, but then I'll come back to work later on, right? So I make time for it. And I think I just always make it a priority to spend time with them because life is short. It goes by really quickly. And, I don't know how long I'll be around. I don't know how long anybody will be around. So I always make sure that I'm spending quality time. And I think if you do that, even if you're busy on a couple days and you take the time to do something high quality, spend that time with the people that are important to you, I think that's the best way to do it. You'll always be back and forth, but again, just making the priorities.
Amazing. Absolutely.
It's the entrepreneurship, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. I've been trying to get my two girls to read entrepreneurship books. I'm like, I have this story of Shark Tales from Barbara Corcoran. She's one of the sharks from Shark Tank. Awesome. I've been trying to get my girls to read entrepreneurship. They're like, Mom, we're not starting our own business. I said, yes, you are. Start reading.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, we have certainly loved having you here on the show, Charlene, and we certainly would love to have you again on the show, especially when your book launches out, so we can promote it here in the UK specifically, because I know people love to learn more about entrepreneurship. And I know you also talk about branding, which we have not talked about today, but we'll certainly love to dive deep in that perhaps when you have got some more time in future.
Yeah, I would love that. And thank you to both of you and to the audience. I appreciate you taking the time to find out more. And it's been a real lot of fun. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Incredible.
Thank you for sharing. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. If you're looking to learn more about entrepreneurship mindset and also learning about branding, you know where to go. There will be a link below here that will take you straight to Charlene's website, and you can reach out to Charlene on all social media. And really, don't do this alone. Learn from those that are doing it. And it's amazing how fast, perhaps, you can get to your goals. And with that said, we truly appreciate you tuning in and keep learning with us. Charlene and Trevor, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Yukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.